and welcome to this edition of This Informational Paragraph. First off, I want to start by reminding you that organization is key. That is how we can convey our information to our reader in a way that they understand it as well as we do. Starting with our introduction, that is always highlighted in green. Sometimes we add a blue in there, which is our lead. Some of you might know about. That's how you capture your reader's attention. In your introduction will be your topic sentence, and your topic sentence is the heart of your paper. We use green to remember that the topic sentence is going to tell our readers what we're going to explain. So I have an example written here that says, early settlers in Jamestown faced many difficulties. So, I might be thinking, what might be the difficulties that they faced? Who were the settlers? And maybe what was Jamestown? So if I'm going down to my key star ideas now, this is where I'm going to explain. No, back up. My key star idea is related here, but my explaining happens mostly here in my elaborations. These are just going to be where I list the difficulties that they faced. So for example, starvation, illness, and let's see, they had pretty poor leadership at the time. They didn't really have anybody to take charge and say, hey, this is what we should do. Anyway, so your key star ideas really, they remind you to slow down. You want to make a good transition, and you want to say what it was that they were facing. So if they were facing many difficulties, we want to let people know what those difficulties were. So now, down here in my elaborations, I'm going to give examples or an explanation of it. So, for example, for starvation, I could say that they were too focused looking for gold. And maybe their illness, they didn't wash their hands. Mostly just because they didn't have sinks or very well-built houses. But anyway, this is really where we want to explain and give examples of like what kind of illnesses were they facing, why was their leadership so poor, why were they starving, and that's really kind of what we do here is we just really explain it. And then down in our conclusion, this is where we wrap up our paper. A lot of times a good conclusion is going to go back and link it back to your introduction. Any link that you have to your introduction and your conclusion is a strong link. However, you kind of want to take it to the next step and try to use different words. So in my introduction, I said, early settlers in Jamestown faced many difficulties. So as my conclusion, I could say things like, it was really difficult for early settlers in Jamestown because they were always sick and hungry and nobody would tell them what to do to make it better. Notice how I kind of use the same words and I connect it all back into what I talked about in my key star ideas and my elaborations, but I just did it really briefly. So, like it says, a good conclusion reminds readers of the purpose of your paragraph. That's just a brief overview of what each of the colors means and just kind of an example of what each step should look like. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Bye, guys.